A'Ja Wilson doing what she just did, there's no coming back for. She should be fined, barred, suspended, something. Because the level of assault Caitlyn Clark took, there's no coming back from that.
We recently found out about A'Ja Wilson's shoe deal problem, and you won't believe it.
At the time, I did a little short that wound up getting 1 million views, basically on every platform, as to why Caitlyn Clark was the one who got this big, massive Nike deal. But at the same time, there was backlash because A'Ja Wilson did not have a Nike deal. And people were like, how did Caitlyn come in and get it? And A'Ja is great. Blah. And in a lot of ways, that was a preview for some of the dumbass discourse.
The problem is that we have been following this whole dispute around Caitlyn Clark's Nike contract for months. Social media was ablaze with Wilson supporters lamenting the unfairness of Clark receiving her own shoe while the league MVP appeared to be overlooked. The material was really intense. Await the plot twist, though. Wilson recently disclosed that she has a 2-year contract with Nike set in stone.
What A'Ja Wilson just did was unprecedented. I mean, on so many levels. She's arguably, allegedly, the reason Caitlyn Clark was assaulted the entire 2024 basketball.
Wilson was aware that she was working on her own unique shoe, while her fans were disparaging Clark and Nike. Isn't the way she decided to approach that rather intriguing? Following her purported positive vibes brand, she remained silent and watched from the sidelines as Clark dealt with the needless heat. Wilson could have put an end to the entire debate with just one phrase.
If A'Ja couldn't talk about the shoe, she couldn't talk about the shoe. That's fine, and that's understandable, right? Like that's understandable. But there was also a way to do it that didn't make it seem, because if I'm reading that, I'm thinking she's saying, yeah, you guys got me, but it's coming, right? Like, you know, we'll get there eventually.
Clark, meanwhile, simply kept her head down, concentrated on her game, and responded to all of the criticism with poise. This truly gets you to consider image versus sincerity, doesn't it?
I wouldn't want A'Ja Wilson on my team, or maybe I should turn it around. Since she's A'Ja Wilson, I wouldn't want to be on A'Ja Wilson.
To discover that A'Ja Wilson was sitting pretty while being aware that her unique sneaker was being made. Her signature sneaker was created, refined, and scheduled for distribution over the course of 2 years. Even though her suitcase was secured and her moment was certain, she allowed everyone to believe that Nike had betrayed her by selecting Caitlyn Clark first. Guys, that goes beyond simply remaining unconcerned. While everyone else was playing checkers, that person was playing chess.
A'Ja Wilson talking about, oh, I've been waiting 2 years for this. Wait, 2 years for this? 2 years for this, 2025, 2023, CC's announced in 2024, delayed, not denied in 2024, backlash all 2024.
To be honest, A'Ja made Caitlyn the villain in order to garner all of the pity. We're discussing allowing a novice to endure internet abuse, while she merely observed it all unfold. For what purpose? A few more clicks? To keep her admirers energized? Because believe me, Wilson's supporters have been following Caitlyn since the beginning of her WNBA career, and this shoe drama? It was the ideal justification for them.
Don't be mad at Caitlyn Clark. She's getting $28 million. Don't they want sisters to get paid? Or they don't want a white girl to get paid first? I think that's what it is.
Suddenly, those noisy voices have stopped talking, don't they? It turns out that Nike wasn't the source of the actual disrespect. Rather, it came from A'Ja and all those who allowed this untrue story to become out of hand. A'Ja was giving the impression that she was the victim in this situation, but Caitlyn was merely attempting to expand the game.
Where the hell do we go from here? What A'Ja Wilson just did was completely unhinged. You knew for 2 years that you had a signature shoe coming out, but yet and still, you played a fake damn agenda about Caitlyn Clark getting a $28 million deal, which we still haven't heard the ramifications of your actual deal. At least I haven't heard, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, we don't know how much money A'Ja Wilson.
Just one tweet. It would have only required that. Hey, don't worry, my shoe's coming too, is all that is needed. The drama would have ended with a bang. However, she allowed it to develop. As if she were a villain taking opportunities, She watched Caitlyn's name being dragged.
2 years. A 2-year lie.
And now that we know the truth, the same individuals who were yelling about unfairness are quickly attempting to retract their positions. The problem is that, as we previously stated, this is far more than just shoes. Take a look at Caitlyn's treatment ever since she joined the WNBA. She seemed to have a bullseye on her back from the moment she arrived. People disliked her rather than applauding her contributions to the game.
Why?
Because she introduced the sport to millions of new people? Because she sparked interest in women's basketball among those who had previously never given it a try? Because this is where the future's heading, is what Nike remarked after recognizing her star power?
If you think A'Ja Wilson's the best player in the world, that's perfectly fine. That's your opinion. But we all know who has the most impact in the sport. And she's playing in Indiana. She wears number 22 for the...
In order to correct the record, Caitlyn did not steal the show. She didn't try to cheat. She was so good that she earned the shoe deal in the same way that she earned her spot in the league. For a period.
You're nearly 30 years old. Knowingly sending an angry mob towards a 22-year-old player is awful.
The crazy part, though, is that we all know what would happen if the roles were reversed and Caitlyn's admirers were visiting A'Ja in that manner. Everywhere it would make headlines. Think pieces, ESPN segments, Twitter debates, and anything else. However, when is Caitlyn? Crickets. Complete crickets. Let's not even discuss Nike's contradictory statements. This Super Bowl campaign honoring female athletes is fantastic, isn't it? The very following day, they released another commercial, but this time, Caitlyn Clark wasn't included.
Nike. Oh my God. Nike. Folks, sometimes it's just unbelievable.
With this last-minute voiceover, they attempted to hide it so we wouldn't notice. But we're not blind, come on. That was a decision, not an accident. Nike said, hey, we love her money, but let's keep her out of the picture. Or something similar.
Okay, Nike, what the are you thinking?
If you haven't already, go listen to that re-recorded audio. It's very clear that things have changed.
A lot of people think that they added a voiceover. From my experience in editing, I have used this many times with other things. They actually changed it with AI.
How in the world does this happen? We are discussing a person who has genuinely altered the rules of the game. America's most talked about female athlete. Someone with NBA caliber stats in their games. Why, therefore, is she being marginalized? The answer is rather obvious. The old guard, the veterans, aren't exactly welcoming anything. They are content to profit from her success. But what about having her back?
No.
They're barely putting up with Caitlyn Clark, not glorifying her. They will take advantage of her accomplishment to increase their numbers, but when she is assaulted, where are they? Instead of seeing her as someone who has earned every bit of her success, they treat her as an outsider who got lucky. Isn't it not a fantastic appearance for Nike? Doesn't that make you question what's actually happening at Nike behind the scenes? If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel before we begin. Let's return to our story now. The person suffering the most in this situation isn't Caitlyn Clark. She can actually withstand the pressure. The WNBA itself is the actual victim. You cannot expect the league to grow if you treat your best talent like a problem. Every inconsiderate remark, needless dispute, and covert effort to minimize her influence. All of this gives the league the appearance of being small, unconfident, and disconnected from the events taking place directly in front of them. The numbers are self-evident. TV ratings, sold-out venues, and ticket sales all demonstrate that Caitlyn Clark is more than simply a celebrity. She is a sensation. However, some individuals seem more concerned in discrediting her than in accepting that. A'Ja Wilson now receives her distinctive shoe. It's a significant occasion that deserves celebration. However, we must not overlook the way this entire issue developed. Months of pointless drama, continual jabs at Caitlyn, and people fabricating stories to further their own goals. It exposed something unpleasant. Despite all the rhetoric about growing the game, some players in this league seem more focused on preserving their self-esteem than advancing the sport. Then, Cheryl Swoops is in the spotlight, promoting IS Moment as if it were the most significant event in WNBA history.